Finance meeting for whatever today is.
17th, sir.
Today's 17th. First thing, we need approval of the minutes for the finance committee meeting of February the 1st.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written for the meeting held February 1st, 2021, finance committee meeting, sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Invoices. We recommend payment of invoice for $116,708.10. Anybody got any questions on these invoices that you have before you? D cards, whatever. Anybody? Here?
Oh, no, sorry.
No? Comments? Questions? Motions?
Good.
I'm not making all the motions.
Oh.
Yeah.
I move that we recommend and pass on for payment to council for the total of $116,708.10.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Madam Clerk, do you?
Okay. Of course, you got several things in your packet, and I'm hoping you guys brought your short budget, because I'd really like to go through that fast if we can. Of course, as usual, we got our accounts receivable and our expense report, and then we got what we call our cash balance. And as you can see at this point, there's 3.2 million in our cash balance. That's with all of our funds that we have. And then of course there's our statements from all of our accounts, which ones are in. I forgot to print a bank account. But anyway, I'd like to go through this evening because what's next on the agenda is a budget revision. So I kind of like to briefly go through that budget revision so that we can, so you guys will know what's going on, where the money, why we put this money and this and that. And if you go to page 6 of our short budget, that's okay. We're good. We had to make the adjustment on our COVID pay that we give our employees back in December. So we had to make some adjustments. And our short budget at this point should have been 58%. So I went through each department, and we'll start with the mayor's. And I was looking at the salary line, which at the end of January, they were at 53%. So I felt like they had enough money to cover that. And what I just handed out is the COVID pay, what we give all each department. That's our report that came. So there's enough money to cover that, so I didn't add any money to our mayor's department, or the council, or the clerk. Now, council, I did add, decreased it by 32,000, which you guys approved. And that's because of the money that we give sanitary board, plus new raises went in effect in January for our council members. So when we made the budget out last year, it was based on the $50. So I had to figure that out, and so that's why the addition there was to cover salaries plus the $48,000 in that grant. That's why we had to add to that part. Clerk's department felt like we were okay. Police department, we increased it by 32,000. And if you look on that paper that I just handed out, the police department, what we paid in COVID pay. So we increased that. And also in the police department, we're over in maintenance on auto maintenance. So we want to increase auto maintenance because we're over, plus I feel like we probably need more. So, and if you look at everywhere that we're in the negative part, as we're doing this, I'm trying to adjust our balances in each line item. Same way with the fire department. Fire department's overpay, they didn't have enough money in theirs to cover the overpay, so increased it with overpay. That's all the things. And we increased, we put some more money in there for something was kind of very close. And another thing we put money in the police department for was all these uniforms that we didn't count for the new hirees. So that was why that was increased. Next is the Teresa, the central center dispatch. There's not enough money to cover that, so we'll put $1,600 in that. Streets and highways, when I have 96, that's for the COVID play plus the truck that's on order to cover that expense. Recreation department, we needed, necessarily didn't need it for salaries, but we needed to add for 13, almost 14,000 in the hole and new equipment. And that's where we paid for that $30,000 machine. So, you know, we felt like we needed to put 30 back in there and all the expenses, it's still for the park up on the hill. So that's why that was an increase of 55. And then the aging, we increased it by 10 because we needed more money and hoping that would cover. There's 55 in there for new equipment, which would be the new van. So we added 10 to it that covered the van plus any other expenses downstairs for the bathrooms. And we may have needed to add more than that, but we can do that later. But that's, and so therefore we took, on the short budget, we took out of our contingency line item, we had 511,000. So we reduced it by $275 and added to all the other departments to make the balance. So that was our budget adjustment. And as we do these increases, we make the internal adjustments too.
What do the line items look like, or what do you think? What do you think the line items will look like for the rest of this fiscal year?
For our budget wise?
Yeah, you think we're gonna be okay?
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I do think once we add this to each department, I think they should come out
Okay.
with their requests unless we have something.
B&O's all pretty steady.
Yep. B&O is, let's see, 304, 305 B&O. It's right there, it's at 58%, that's what it should be, but,
That's right.
you know, we just keep hoping that.
Somebody comes down.
And probably what's really helped our gross sales, it's probably been talking about sales.
Think it's been good?
Yeah. Yeah,
Because it's
That's good.
third center off now also.
yeah,
Stage for patients.
yeah, that's, you know, that's really, I think Taco Bell has helped cover some of that. But there again, this is at the end of January, we had a lot of B&O coming 1st of February. People wait till that last day to mail it in, and it rolls into February, so we'll look what February looks like. You know,
Okay. Anything else?
nope,
All right, we got a resolution for the budget adjustment, for general fund. Somebody like to make a motion if we, recommend that that goes to council.
I move that we accept the resolution for the budget adjustment number 3 for the general fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Going down to, number 7, new business, hiring a new firefighter.
You want to do it, or you want me to?
I'll let you go, and if you need me to say anything, I'll.
All right, on the 26th of January, we received a letter, or the 27th of January, we received a letter from Blair Taylor with the West Virginia Public Employees Retirement Center. Jason? Not Jason, Chris. Chris Berger has officially been retired, and we are going to be needing to replace him. We've already went through the list and are ready to hire, and that's what we wanted to talk about. Make sure you're all on the same books about hiring the new police officer as soon as possible. Or firefighter, I'm sorry. Too many years in the other department.
Notice Matt didn't say anything back here. You just,
So I'm just waiting. My time's gonna come.
your turn's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, that's gonna be bigger than one.
Yeah, okay. Anybody got any comments? I mean, you know, we budgeted for the officers.
I will say,
We need the officers.
we have another one that's already in the process.
That's what,
We have another one that's already in the process
okay.
of doing the same thing. All we're waiting for is the letter.
Which is based on Blair's, my conversation is 4 to 6 weeks away, as of the 27th.
It would,
have 2 medically retired?
yes. It would be, fantastically great if the council would go ahead and fill both of those now. That way we can do the training consistently with all versus having to duplicate ourselves here in another 4 to 6 weeks or however much longer that takes. But there's no, that process has started and there's no reversing that process now at this point. It's just a matter of getting the doctors' appointments, going through the motions of getting a second doctor to agree with the first doctor, and then our board has to meet with the mayor and, you know. So yeah, we're gonna have 2, counting the one in front of me.
Your eligibility list, you've got bodies on there?
Yes, and we've already, taken the liberty of the first candidates, background checked them, physical and psychological tested them, we're good. So, we're ready to move as soon as council, as soon as the mayor and council are ready.
With that being said, not to take the thunder, but the gentleman that is waiting for that letter is using sick leave every day that he is supposed to be at work. He is not on disability at this time, temporary disability. The city is paying him sick time for every day that he is taking off.
And when do you anticipate this to?
4 to 6 weeks, from the 26th.
From the 26th of February?
Yes. No, January.
January.
Should be,
So that should be like the next week or 2.
hopefully. Sometimes I've got a call into him. He didn't call me back today, Blair.
She said legislator tables, I
Yeah.
told you.
Right.
I tried to get hold of them too.
Okay, so we should got that one, you got another one coming on. The money.
But they need to start their training also.
Well, but we got still one on payroll.
Right.
We still got one on payroll, so.
14 men. We have to go through the
I
whole.
understand, that's why.
We've got to change everything to get that conversion.
That's right. Go get it.
I know, but
It was
this.
4 to 6 weeks for the first guy or the second?
Second guy. The first guy is
First
done.
guy's done.
Yeah,
You have a vacancy, right now. There's a
there's
vacancy.
one vacancy right now.
You got another vacancy that's gonna come up in approximately 2 to 4 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
That individual is on disability or on sick time now, sick pay now, not disability.
Correct. I mean, the difference is the first one chose to, go under workers' compensation. The second one chose to not go that route and just use sick leave. But, and I
don't think they that way.
I understand what
Two of it.
I understand, you know, you're all concerned and everything. I'm just looking at it from we hired a guy back, 2 months ago almost, and we've held his training, waiting on this to happen. I can't keep holding him So the longer we wait, it's gonna create a duplicate training thing for us. So naturally, I'm looking at it from that, hey, I need this, side, so. Don't misunderstand me, I'm definitely not being argumentative. I just simply telling you what works best for us is as soon as we can get them both.
But you have names off of your eligibility list that you're ready to put to work now.
Yes, sir.
No physicals or nothing's needed for them?
No, everything's complete.
What's your saying?
What happened to the first guy that just went off? This one now.
The one right now
He
was,
got hurt on the,
I didn't want to name his
he got
name.
hurt over to,
Do
he,
y'all want
fire.
me to
He-
mute this?
The handle broke on the truck,
yeah,
right?
he actually fell off the truck on a working fire off the back of a ladder truck
Hit his knee.
and landed on his knee 3 years ago. And, he's had 3 surgeries, tried to work. I commend him for trying to stick with it.
Okay,
Uh,
but we were never made aware of
Yeah.
this, that it was coming to the finance committee or the council for approval. That's my point. I didn't know anybody was hurt that bad.
Well, it's kind of one of the things we've been waiting to hear what, we
And now
don't want to say anything until we hear something for sure from a doctor,
Now you got another one hurt.
Yeah.
Has the second guy seen any of the pension doctors yet?
No. He saw his personal, they say he's done. Blair informed me that they were in the process.
Do y'all need me to
It
mute
takes 4 to
this?
6 weeks of them trying to find a doctor to send him.
Why don't we just go ahead and, recommend the hiring of one now? When the second one goes on disability, then we'll go with him. But as of right now, seems how he's still on payroll indirectly. We can't, well, we could, but that's what,
Cuts into his budget,
yeah, it is,
because it's over now already.
But it's only 10 days.
If it gets, if
everything
the
goes.
doctor approves putting him on disability.
You still have to see 3, right? 2 have to agree. Oh, it's down to 2 now?
Yeah. His personal one, they have to see the personal doctor who recommends it, and then once they get the recommendation from the personal doctor, they send it to Blair. Blair turns around and schedules a doctor with the pension board. After they meet, if the both of them agree, it's done. If they don't agree, then they have to go to the third doctor.
Okay. They changed all the search forms, right?
But that doctor could also say he can be rehabilitated temporarily.
Right, yeah.
What's your saying?
I agree, since that one's a workman's comp, or no, I'm sorry, he's using sick leave. Just to hire the one right now that we actually have a slot for. And hold off on the other one until that slot becomes available.
That motion? To hire one now, one later?
I'll make that motion, yes, sir. That we hire one now and one when that slot becomes available.
I second.
Any more comment?
I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Uh,
We recommend council, full council to hire one now, one later. Old business.
Now, you still got some new business, or no, never mind, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the regular agenda. I'm sorry.
Under old business, we've been talking about that chipper. The chipper. And I think we all agree that a chipper is needed. But I think we found out some problems with what we were talking about. While we've been doing some checking on it, you want to tell them what you found out about chippers?
Well, what I found, just by asking around, what I found out is most of the municipalities around us are using 12-inch chippers. So I think we were kind of wondering why we thought it was necessary for a 19-inch chipper. The current chipper we have is what, 9-inch?
I think it's a 10, but I'm not. I have to go back, and it's so old, I have to go back and try to
Did we
pull
get
it.
it working?
I put $2,000 in it last month, and they say it's supposed to be up and running, but the truck again is down right now.
Well, from what I found out, Charleston just bought 2 12-inch chippers. South Charleston's currently using 12-inch chippers. Most of the tree services around here are just using 12-inch chippers. I think there's one service that has a 19-inch chipper. And for a 12-inch chipper, if that will do what the city needs, it's about less than half the cost of that 19-inch. And given what the conversation was before the meeting started, it sounds like we might need a truck. Yeah, that's enough money to buy a truck.
They have, if they still got it, they had a 15-inch chipper. It was located in Fairmont. It had 32, 33 hours on it that they said they would let go, I think, for $46,000. He said that he was willing to go to Fairmont, we'd go up, look at it, you know, go over, use it if we wanted to, if we decide to go that route.
Everybody thinks that. I think we kind of wonder how many plan.
So.
There's only thing before,
Well, 12 seems to be the standard for the kind of stuff that I think we did.
Can you check on 12 now? The first one you gave us was a state bid, is that correct?
yes,
Check, and evidently in Charleston, everybody buying 12-inch, somebody's got a state bid somewhere on that 12-inch. Yeah, find us a price on that.
the only reason I went to that one was because we can no longer burn. And we've got logs that are sitting out there that are, and if we continue to take those and we don't do something with them, we're gonna be in a world of trouble.
So here's my question, who's cutting those logs? Surely homeowners aren't cutting 19-inch trees.
We've had to go pick them up with a backhoe and put them in a truck where they belong.
The truck gets paid people to do it.
Do it.
Well, the thing is there.
If we don't catch them,
You're right.
and they say, oh, I cut it down, then we're stuck with it.
But I think we need to look at the fact that we're picking up stuff we shouldn't be picking up.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, you know, won't go in the chipper, then somebody else gotta figure out what to do with it. And I think that's one of the things we need to look at in that respect there.
See, it's always been before, if it's laying there, we gotta go get it, it don't matter how big it is and what it looks like. You know, that's just been the thing, if it's laying there, go get it, it don't matter how you get it.
That's saving $42,000 or whatever. I mean, if we do need one, we can rent that if the chipper is needed, if there's a job that requires it. And still save.
Yeah, they got the same model chipper, the XPC, they got the same model as the 12, 15. They got different sizes.
Do they have to get a permit in, they cut a tree down?
The homeowner does not. For tree permits are only for contractors. Hell, half of them don't get them, you can't chase them down.
Because they do them on weekends and stuff like
Well, they do
that.
them on weekends, you know, some of them are in and out of there fast and don't.
A lot of times what they'll do, they'll tell the homeowner, well, the city will pick it up. So if you call it into the city, we'll cut you a deal. We'll charge you $250 less, so we don't have to bring a truck and chipper. And then they go ahead and do it on a weekend, turn it in on Monday as they did.
I definitely think if it's too big good a chipper, somebody might pay for it if we pick it up. I mean, that.
So we leave it there for the homeowner have to do something.
Well, yeah, I mean, either the homeowner can do something with it, or we'll take it, but we're gonna send them a bill for it. I mean, that's what we're gonna have to go with, because it's ridiculous, pick that stuff up like that.
And if we would get that dump cleaned up, I could go out there and take the chips. We could buy the tarps. I think I spec'd it out, it was like $400 for the tarp. We could pile those chips, and in a year, you could go out there and you could either give dirt away or sell it, or, I mean, it makes a good top. You can go out there and just lay it down, you just keep building it up. What you do, you go take a pickup truck in summertime, these people cutting grass and bagging grass, just go out there and put it on top of it, and it makes it speed it up. Makes decomp speed up, and then you just keep adding to it, and as you do, put that tarp back down on it, it heats it up. In a year, you can take it off, and there you got
Compost.
brand new black soil. There you go.
Okay, bring us a price, please. And if there is no state, I mean, I'm sure there is, but if there is not a state bid on it, get us 2 bids to come in.
I was just to clarify on the John Deere, the Sourcewell, that is your federal government price. So when you go through Sourcewell, It doesn't matter whether you go to California to get a price, or where you go, that's always gonna be your price, so that's your federal government price. Anytime you get anything from John Deere that says Sourcewell at the bottom of it, that's your federal government price.
Okay, well, see what you can do for us.
Okay.
If we got anything else? Going once? Going twice?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second,
Sharon.
Sure.
Second.
any vote?